Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is the 4th of December 2020. We're looking at the seeds from the cucumber from the other day, and you can see there's beginning of mold starting to form on the surface. However, it's not time yet to process the seeds, so I thought instead I'd take you on a little tour of my worm composting bin. So my worm composting bin, this is the outside of it. It's a 15 quart or 14 liter Sterilite container. There's no holes in it. It's inside of it sits this other container, and you can see the lid. I took the lid from this container. I just cut a square hole in the surface of it, taped some mesh in, and it prevents fruit flies and other things from getting into the composter. The composter part is the same size Sterilite container. However, this one, if you can see, I drilled holes along the bottom of it. So if there's moisture forming while the worms are doing their work, digesting vegetables and pulp from juicer and things like that, the water would flow out of this and into this container here and not get anywhere else. This does not smell. I've never had any problems with it. I've been using this thing for about 5 years. I built it myself. Anybody can do this. You just need some containers. This size is perfect for like a 1 or 2 person household. If you're vegetarians, you can feed the bin about every 2 or 3 days and the worms can keep up. Let's see if we can find somebody in here. Whoop. They're digging down as I'm turning the soil. They're trying to get away from the light. They don't like the light. And they're not moving around a lot today because it's cool in here. This composter, I sit underneath a wood stove that I've got in my kitchen, which I only use if the power's out and it's really cold and I want to cook something, then I'm cooking it here. So on that little red cover that you see down there, that is where the worm composting bin sits. So it's super handy in the kitchen, and I can just throw scraps in anytime I need to, and the worms take care of it. Now, why in the heck would somebody do this? Well, say you live in an apartment and you have plants, vegetables or flowers or whatever on your balcony, and you don't want to be hauling bags of manure and stuff in from a garden center. You can start composting your food waste in your own kitchen and use that to feed your plants or your vegetables that you might have in grow bags or something out on your balcony. If you live in the country, most probably you have access and are gardening. But the thing about animal manures is they need a lot of time to be safe to put around your vegetables. They have to be composted. Worm compost, worm castings, anything that goes through the worm's digestion, it's safe to use around your plants right away. You can make a tea out of the worm castings, and that can be sprayed on the leaves of the plant. I don't know if you all know, but plants take nutrition in through their leaves, and so worm compost is safe to make a tea out of. And it'll be sometime in the spring when things warm up. I will show you my worm tea composter blender thing that I use to brew compost tea from the worm castings for the garden. And that's a whole nother thing to get into, but just for today I wanted to show you all this and think about where you could put this in your house. Because it doesn't smell. And if you needed a bigger one and you have access in a basement or garage, as long as it doesn't freeze, you could put your composter in one of those places too. Now, where do you get the worms? Well, if you know somebody who has a composter and they've got a bunch of worms, usually in the spring, you can probably get some. There are places that you can actually buy the worms from. And if you live in the country and have access to somebody's place that has horses or cows, you can flip over some manure piles and you will find the same worms under those piles of manure. These are not the kind of worms that you go fishing with. These are not the kind of worms that you find just when you're digging in the garden. These are a specific kind of worm. So the best book that I know about how to get started with this is by Mary Appelhof, and it's called Worms Eat My Garbage. You can probably find it for, I don't know, you certainly find it on Amazon, but you can probably find it on any used bookstore at this point. I believe it was 2017. They had the 35th edition of this book come out, so pretty exciting. This woman got a lot of people started on composting, having the worms help us use up kitchen waste instead of just throwing it down the garbage disposal or tossing it in the trash. It's a valuable thing, and we can nourish our own plants. We don't have to buy stuff. We can recycle with the help of worms and make our gardens better, make our plants stronger, and know that it's safe and there's no pathogens. Well, thanks for joining me today in my worm composter bin, and hopefully in a few days I will be able to post the next video, which will be the cucumber seeds. And if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with folks who might be interested in doing something. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.